This land is not your land. This water is not your water. These resources are not your resources. And the people here are actually not your people to control. I do just want to be brutally honest with you and let you know that pipelines and the extractive industries that exist, in case you haven't known, are actually killing Indigenous peoples at an exponential rate. In Canada alone, I know people like to point fingers and say, oh, the Americans, they got Trump. Okay, well, y'all have wolves in sheep's clothing, right? And I think that it's a moral imperative for folks to know that what's happening in the United States is a direct result of what's happening in Canada, because all shit flows downstream. And so I do just want to say that the work that I'm doing right now, I know, let me check my little thing here and see how long I got. I just want to say that, you know, folks had asked me to talk about allyship, and I can talk all day about Standing Rock, and I can tell you about organizing, and I'll open up to questions if y'all have specific questions about organizing. But I do just want to say, as a room full of mostly non-people of color that I see, if there are like some of you that are hiding in here, you feel free to raise your hand. But this is a mostly non-native, non-people of color room. Everyone in here, if you are not a person of color or non-Indigenous person, should be thinking about your allyship and thinking about not only about how you're going to be an ally, but how you're going to be an accomplice, because the time for allyship has passed. We no longer have time for people to say that they can just stand up and hold a sign, or that they can just attend a march and that that's going to be enough, because it's not. I can tell you 2 years ago I was standing at the end of a rifle and I was watching a man walk with a can of bear mace that was the size of a fire extinguisher that you see in regular facilities, full of mace, and he was walking past children as slow as he could, and he was macing them in the face. And then they would stop and they would take a breath, and then he would go back and he would do it again. And that was the least of what they were doing, right? And it was to kids. And I watched them break my little sister's wrist. And when she showed me the man that had broken her wrist, I walked up to them and I said, do you know how old they are? To these police officers, I said, they're 16, 19, 21, 23, 18, 17. They didn't care, right? They do not care about our futures because they do not want us to live. I want y'all to know that, and I want you to leave here knowing that. Is if it's a surprise to you or it's a shock to you that people don't give a shit about Indigenous peoples, they don't care about people of color, it's not a surprise to us, because it's been happening since people showed up.